3 away goals, 3 points secured, second in the league, and one massive dose of bullishness. That is how you do a Saturday afternoon. Welcome to the review show, and there won't be many more bullish review shows than this one to welcome you into a new month as United hit February absolutely flying. My name is Julian Roberts. I'll be your host, and we've got lots and lots of positive stuff to discuss today. Matt Caspell, how are you, mate?
Yeah, man, I'm good.
Are you flying as well, just like
I'm
you?
flying. I'm flying. It's hard not to. It's hard not to be getting carried away, I guess. Going to see how grounded we can stay, maybe. And then obviously we can laugh about the message I sent on the group chat about Louis Appéré about 40 minutes into the game, which is aged atrociously badly.
I am excited to talk about that. Yeah. One of my highlights. Every time I looked at you in the second half, you kept looking at it and you were just like, what?
Shaking my head like,
what a thing to write down.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
We can come to that in a bit. Tom Walker, you're also here as well. It's becoming so common now that we don't really mention it, but yet another platform with a clean sheet yesterday.
Yeah, maybe there was some sense to it, I guess. I just like that Harris keeps mentioning it. I think it was after we beat, God, getting lost with all of the wins. I think it was after the Crew, not Crew. Who was it we beat on Tuesday? I've totally forgotten.
Shrewsbury.
Sorry. That. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it after that. It might even have been Tranmere actually, which obviously we conceded goals, so maybe not the clean sheet missed. But yeah, I would say it's getting boring, but it's just really, really not.
Really not. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, at the moment? As you said there, Caspell, like it is quite hard to not feel particularly bullish, and yesterday did a lot for that, didn't it? I mean, a 3-0 win up at Oldham. We said it on Tuesday night when we come back from the game, Caspell, that it's like kind of the perfect game to have, because if you win, you're flying. Like you're absolutely buzzing off the back of it. But also, I think the reason we said it was that if it is as tricky as maybe we feared it would be and you lost or drew, the narrative wouldn't be that bad off the back of it. But we won 3-0. I mean, what an afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a textbook away. Not even just the match; the whole away day was great. But just a textbook away performance from us, where I think it's the first time at the end of a game I've thought, God, we look like title contenders here. Just the way that we were so efficient in the game. You know, you could say within reason, about 60 minutes of that game from us were like pretty quiet. We just had the game pretty contained, like not conceding chances, no XG. I was looking back at our last few games, and the amount of total XG in all the games in the first half is like fractional, including us. Like, it's very clear we've got this blueprint now where we go to a game away from home, and our plan definitely is just to like contain the football match completely. And yeah, I mean, platform, might as well say, give ourselves a platform for the second half, which is kind of textbook. Like, if you're going to get promoted, this is exactly how you approach those away games. It's not realistic to expect you're going to like burst out of the blocks, go 2-0 up, 20 minutes, and like, right, sorted, now we'll contain the game. So we just really figured this thing out, I think. And then it's 12 minutes across the 3 goals, just absolutely obliterated them, like took the game so far out of reach in that period. I think that's got to be like one of the best sorts of sequences you can just watch as a football fan, right? In that away end, it's just suddenly the game sparking to life.
Yeah.
And us scoring those goals back to back, and all of it being down our end. It's just all like so pleasing. Just knowing when that third goal went in, you were like, this football match is finished. Like, is so over. There's not going to be a whiff of Oldham like doing anything in this football match, basically. So, yeah, let's get carried away. Let's go for it.
Yeah, totally. I think it is a moment to get carried away. You know, if we're going to do this is a legitimate moment, 6 wins on the trot, to get carried away. But Tom, the question that sprung into my head when I was first thinking about this was, is this a game that you think people start taking us seriously, other teams? Because it still feels like, even with the run we've been on, we've been slightly under people's radars. Or put it this way, the Oldham fans on the preview pod, who were great value, they weren't worried about facing us at all by the way they talked about us. And they both predicted an Oldham win. They both thought that they'd watched us on Tuesday and thought we were terrible on Tuesday, which is a fair point. Yeah. But they based a lot of it on that, and I don't think they were scared of us at all, which I think actually kind of plays into our favour.
Yeah, that's aged well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. we said it in the ground yesterday, probably just after the third goal. Hence, we're getting a little bit carried away. In a few of these seasons where we have been promoted or done really well, I think there's been a fixture or a game where you sort of stand up and you go, "All right, this is a bit different. This is quite serious." In the conference promotion year, obviously Grimsby away is the one that people would probably go to, that win there on a Tuesday night. But in the promotion season, from League Two, it probably goes on a little bit later because it was still really tight, and we probably ourselves we were still a little bit unconvinced of what promotion teams should look like. And you're probably looking at Newport there as being the one where you're like, okay, right, we're going to get this over the line now.
Maybe like Vale as well. Push.
I think Vale, because we did
yeah.
that. We had 4 wins in a row, which included that Vale game in March in the promotion season.
That's small fry stuff, though.
Yeah,
I know, 4.
Four.
So I was like, it's pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
As little as 4.
We were barely out of first gear.
But I do feel like it was because I was looking for exactly this sport. So I was looking like, right, when during that promotion season last time in League Two, when was that like moment where it crystallized in your mind? You're like, oh, right, it's actually like this could be, we're onto something here. I do think it was that run in March, probably Port Vale. We just scoring so many late goals. Like Carlisle was up around that time of year as well when we got
that's
the late winner up there. And it was just like, these are those moments. But it's just like, it's so nice now. I was thinking this about yesterday. It's so nice thinking like it's happening in real time. Like sometimes you don't know it's happening during a football season. Do you know what I mean? Then you reflect and you go, oh, that Oldham away win was like actually really big because it's supposed to be the hard game in that run of like easier fixtures. I just think it was so nice. I really felt it yesterday and today. Like that was like a big like statement win. So people should be taking us seriously. I think basically probably benefits us that they don't. Do you know what I mean?
Completely.
Like, we should keep flying under the radar basically as long as we can.
I'll probably agree with that. I think, I mean, I think if there's any questions maybe beforehand, there's probably not too many now that we're. I'll keep going back to it. Probably not even just talking about a serious contender for automatic promotion, but we're probably now looking at a serious push on finishing top, which is obviously something that we missed out on before. But the way things are going, you'd be mad not to consider that that's a real possibility. I think, statement win, obviously a great result. We were trying to think back to the last time we won 3-0 away from home. I actually think it was actually during that promotion year we missed one, which was Mansfield away.
Oh, yeah.
So I just find another one. But it's been obviously a little while since we've had a win like that on the road. I guess we beat Cheltenham 5-0, didn't we? But I think, whatever. But also just like a statement performance. Like, I think so much of the reason that if there has been any doubt about, staying power and if we can really go the distance, is probably about maybe a slight concern that while we're very resolute defensively, have we got what it takes at the other end of the pitch to, continue winning games and continue putting teams basically to one side? Then, I mean, the second half yesterday, if you look at just like the XG, like we've absolutely battered them in the second half. I know it was a 12-minute period where we scored 3 goals, but even aside from that, like we just absolutely cantered to it for the sort of 20-25 minutes after the third goal. And Caspell makes a good point there about being able to sort of enjoy it in real time. I mean, there's nothing like that when you have like a period like that and you just take the game away from a team, and then you've got like a period to enjoy it where they know it's done, you know it's done, and the away end can just really kind of drink it all in, I suppose. That's what we did. But I think
we did.
Yeah,
looking very literally.
Yeah, very good stuff. And I guess if people weren't maybe wise to it beforehand, and this probably goes to some of our own fans as well, I guess. I think they probably are now, and I do sort of equally love and hate doing it because I know it's not something that we really should be doing. We should be getting, maybe we should be getting carried away, but you don't get too far ahead of yourself. But you do start to look at the next sort of 6, 7, 8 fixtures, and you're like, this could really start to open up quite quickly here because there's some presentable looking games in there. And especially when you consider that at the start of this run, everyone would have looked at Oldham and gone, well, that's the one that's going to be really tough. And we're barely broken sweat and we're beating 3-0. So, yeah.
I think that's exactly it. I think there's probably something to be said there for the fact that, like, why, and we said it yesterday, like, hang on, why were we fearing 16th in the league? Like, why did that enter our thought? Like, we are just a sort of much better side, full stop. So we shouldn't really have to fear going to these places. And then on the point you just made, in the next 5, we play 4 of the bottom 6. So, like, it is hard not to get carried away from that, really, isn't it? We've got a couple of questions, Caspell, for the pod today. Steve's asked this. He said, "Can you get the Oldham pod chaps back and quiz them on our lack of pace at the back, please?" But then the last bit of his question I really like. He said, "We should send that Shrewsbury game footage to all of our upcoming opponents." And I was going to ask Caspell, what do you think was it just ruthlessness that was the difference between what we did on Tuesday and what we did on Saturday? Because you're right about this blueprint, first half, second half, and it felt like that was also the plan Tuesday night, really. Even though I know we had a few openings first half on Tuesday, but that in principle, keeping it tight first half and then attacking the game second half a bit more, it feels like a blueprint that he's trying to put into action on Tuesday, but it took 90 minutes to find a way through. Whereas on Saturday, do you think it's as simple as ruthlessness that was the difference? He said, Harris said at half time he gave them a proper, he described it as a bollocking, I think. So, which is, I think it's the first time I remember him saying that in a post-match interview, that like he gave them a real talking to at half time. Even the Tranmere game, I'm pretty sure they just said, "Look, keep doing what you're doing," blah 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 blah. Whereas he really made a point of saying like there was some, and to Appéré specifically, which again we're going to come on to. But sorry, the point of the question is just, what do you think we managed to do so much better on Saturday to Tuesday?
I just think, I mean, you lads covered it really well on the Friday review show / preview. I thought Shrewsbury they're obviously not a good side, but I thought they did a really good job as an away team when they came to ours to like take all the space out of that half. Like they obviously had all 11 players in the defensive half for most of the game. And I think I just remember they were pressing us really well. So it's like, football's hard, it's not just like, great, we're like in the top 3 now, so we're winning games, so we're just going to go and like steamroll at everyone. Thought Shrewsbury made it much harder for us to go and beat them than Oldham did. I mean, to be honest, on that Oldham defensive performance, I am astonished that they have the second best defensive record, especially how they've gone and conceded that penalty. It is loose is an understatement of how, I mean, Apparé's done great, and I know we'll come on to Appéré and we're going to have a good laugh at definitely my expense. But I was surprised that I just thought Oldham were not as good as Shrewsbury were on Tuesday. Basically, Shrewsbury obviously bounced into that game off a 5-1. They got absolutely slapped by MK. And it was clear they were like really up for it. I felt like Oldham as the home team probably felt like they had to have a little bit more impetus. It wasn't quite too like mass banks defensively that we had to get through. I think the big difference maker for us, to be honest, is like it was just star quality as well. Like particularly as Ben Knight. Which this pod we should have mentioned his name in the first 10 seconds. Do you know what I mean? Because he was like, I think I would be surprised if a single individual player puts in like a better performance. It's either that or his performance against Crewe, but they are like undeniably 10 out of 10 performances. It's quite funny on the highlights. The commentator just in the build up to the second goal says when Knight gets on the ball before he crosses it, he's like, "Oh, he's been at like the heart of everything Cambridge have done." Literally whips that great cross in and then in the back of the net. And honestly,
and you said to me when he picked up the ball, you said to me, "Oh, we're going to score any minute." Like
I said we'll score now. Like I did say when Knight picked the ball, I was like, "We'll score here," because we just had this huge overload at the back, and I was like, "This I can't see this not ending in the back of the net because of the weight of the numbers." So I was right about one thing before we talk about that, before we talk about the Appéré stuff. But look, I just think that was like star quality. I mean, you're talking like. This is like Houlihan levels here, to be honest. Like that performance is just absolutely unbelievable. And really strong performances from like the whole attacking unit in that second half. Like everyone is coming out of that game with credit. To be honest, there's no bad performance on the pitch. But Ben Knight was like, it's more than head and shoulders, isn't it? He was like entire body above the entire performance level of pretty much anything I've seen in this division, maybe in years, basically. So I was just like, I was properly blown away. Chuffed for him because he seems like a really nice guy, very hardworking. It's like, please put a contract in front of this guy.
Yeah.
Like they must have done it already, but like get this guy on as long a deal as possible and just accept that his ceiling and his future is like obviously going to be higher than us, and just enjoy the ride whilst we've got a player like that, because he'll go very far in his career, I think.
It's actually quite a hard topic almost to say, to talk about a lot, because we're just repeating ourselves. Like he was absolutely sensational. Like you say, he was 10 out of 10. It was one of those performances where I think like the sort of the education or the football training he's got as a inherently like his natural quality and how that's been trained in him since such a young age was so obvious. The third goal being maybe the best example for me, just that pass,
Oh, it's
the
on the
way he lays it on
right.
that
It's on
plate.
the right blade of grass. It's literally like I don't think you could. I don't think he could have timed it or weighted
No.
it better than he did. And it's like obviously Apéré's done well. I mean the XG was 0.5, so he's got a 50% chance of banging it. He done really well, but it's like God, Ben Knight. I could talk about it. Just do a whole pod about Ben Knight, to be honest. Then we'll just review the Oldham games separate. I mean, the fact that Appéré he's won a penalty and scored 2 goals, and like he's clearly not the man of the match. Still, somehow, is a proper
says a
testament
lot.
for how well Ben Knight has played.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, with Knight, Tom, it is worth probably mentioning the contract situation. I mean, we should just enjoy the ride. He's going to be a crucial part of us hopefully not playing in League Two next year. How hopeful are you that we might keep hold of him? Because I look at him yesterday and go, that guy's got championship in him easily.
Yeah, tricky one, isn't it? You kind of almost like want to speak it into existence, really. Yeah, I mean, quite obvious potential. Yeah, I guess if we're bluntly honest, it's maybe not been in his best interest to sign a contract right now because if he keeps playing the way that he is, actually, I don't really want to say this out loud on on the pod, but it feels like that. You know, the longer this run of form goes on, basically, the more and more attention he's going to draw, which is obviously the way it goes. I think was it Rio Ferdinand when he's talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer becoming Man United manager? Right, slap the contract down, write whatever numbers you want on it, and just get it done. That's basically kind of the way that I feel. I think, yeah. I mean, it's kind of easy to forget now, really. But like inevitably the comparisons will be to someone like Wes, won't they? In terms of the impact that he's having, which is fair. Um, Wes was a little bit hit and miss before Christmas of that promotion year.
It's blasphemy
Um,
that.
it's true though. It's true.
Well, it
Though.
was the Saturday thing, wasn't it, that Bonner figured out around Christmas time? That
Yeah, but like what I'm trying to say is like the like most of the impact he had on the team and most of the impact he had on us get promoted came in the second half of the season. I think really, when it felt like he was just winning games of football on his own,
Mhm.
and this is kind of where we're getting with Knight. And more than anything, I think is impressive. It's just like a certain level of like maturity to the way that he plays. I mean, you talk about standing up in pressure moments. Like, what was it 96th minute against Crew, 90th minute against Shrewsbury the other night. Stands up in a big moment at Oldham again, scores the goal there, and obviously sets up the other two brilliantly.
Scored 5 and 5 now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it's probably not great, insightful content, but you do kind of run out of words for it a little bit because how many more times can you say the same thing over and over again? He's just playing really, really well, and to a level where. I mean, we were speaking in the week on the previous show about, how can we get like two strikers on the pitch, for example? You're gonna have to drop one of Kai or maybe Ben Knight, and if that's the discussion that's happening, then it's quite obviously not Ben Knight. Like he's the first name on the team sheet now, really, and he's the one you just kind of build the team around him, get the best out of him, and you'll probably win games.
It's,
Simple as
it's
that.
just it's just the consistency though, isn't it? Because like we've got some really good players at this level. Like James Brophy on his day is one of the best players in this division. Like Kai on his day is one of the best players in the division. The reason they're still in League Two and they're later on in their careers or League One, League Two bumping around is because they just don't do it week in week out in the way that like Knight's production all calendar year, like all of January has just been like he's minimum is like 9 out of 10 standard performance. Like his desire to get on the ball, make things happen, as you said, Jules, is like his football IQ is just it is like we're at Wes levels. Honestly, it's just and his technique is just also unbelievable. So like, yeah, I'm desperate for him to sign a contract, but I'm not hopeful to be honest. I just think do you know what? It's one of those where it's like, look, if he does the biz and keeps going rest of the season, stays fit, gets himself maybe even double figures for goals, keeps scoring important goals, getting assists, and drags us up into League One, and he leaves, he gets himself fixed for a championship move. He's sort of like, fair enough. Like this, we are Cambridge United, and this is where we exist in this ecosystem. I'm afraid is that the positive is that it should be a fantastic selling point to other players, right? Look at what can happen if you come to a club like Cambridge United. You play well, you work hard. He's earned his way to get into the team. You take the opportunity with both hands, and you put yourself on the on the map, and you'll go and get yourself like life-changing money, like players like Harvey Nibbs have done last few years, Sam Smith, Ben Knight. Like, this is how we should be, and I'm certain that Bonner will be. This is how you sell Cambridge United to potential new signings. Is like, you know, we're not going to be your forever club. Probably it's probably not good for your career, frankly. But it's like, we'll put you in the window, we'll give you an opportunity to perform, and you know, hopefully you do a great job, and you leave us on great terms, and we'll watch the rest of your career with interest. It's like, that's how I'm just trying to stay. I'm trying to manifest. What would Swindle do?
Yeah,
Swindle would be manifesting right now, big time.
I see what you're doing. You're twisting the narrative of our best player leaving into a good thing, and I respect it.
It's like chat GPT levels of optimism. Like,
But I do think with Knight, it might be the sort of thing where like we'll sit on this podcast in a couple of years and be like, do you remember when we had him in League Two? Like, do you remember what that was like? And it would just seem so stupid. Anyway, the other player that we've got to discuss, straight back to you, Caspell, is the Appéré.
Right.
So go on, you can reveal this text.
Let me get the message out. I sent it in a group chat about 40 minutes into the game, and it wasn't scathing, to be clear, because I try and stay pretty balanced on these guys, especially our players. I don't like digging people out. I just messaged the group. I don't know what had just happened. I just said, "What is Appéré good at?" That was it. That was it. Just a standalone statement. And to say that group chat blew up over the next half hour, I think would be an understatement. And all I could reply on the chat was, "Well, he's great at responding to criticism."
Yeah.
And I'll put you can put your hands up here, because everyone in that away end, to be 100%. Fair, the dialogue was the same. I guess, I mean, I'll eat humble pie. Firstly, he was fantastic, wasn't he, in that second half? Like, I don't think there's a lot more you can do. To be fair, and again, I'll say this, the one thing I did say, and you know, I was bang on my foot mob stats, is that he is our best player at winning the ball back in the final third. It's something he's done really well. So he anticipates really well. I mean, God knows what the centre-back is doing, because it does not look good on the highlights. He just lets the ball bounce, dithers around, barely controls it. I'm like, this is a horror show of piece of defending. But fair play to Appéré. Like, you can't, it's not his job to, you know, it's not his fault, Oldham. Shit, is it? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, he's just gone in there, done really well. And look, he's picked the ball up well, and he's driven into the box. I'm not sure it's a penalty, actually, but because it just looks.
Do you know what? In the moment, it felt it 100%. I watch it back and I go, "Oh, it's a bit soft."
It's a bit of a combo. It's a bit outside the box, bit soft as well. But I reckon he's just clipped his heels. Yeah. But I mean, hey, he did that thing you need to do, which is he got his body. You know, he got goal side of the defender. Yeah. Which is like everything he did in that move was textbook. And to be honest, I was chuffed for him. Like, I know I said, like, what is he good at? And that, I think, is a reasonable criticism, because we've looked at a guy, I think you were saying, is 1 goal in 21 games.
I think, yeah.
That. And I know that's not specifically his job. Like, and it sounds a bit daft, like striker is obviously there to score goals, but he is there as like a facilitator. But the criticism, I think, is reasonable, because it's like, he's not the quickest, he's not the tallest, he's not the strongest. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's quite good at most stuff, but he's not great at specifically anything, apart from, to be fair to him, getting the ball back in that final third and being tenacious. And you know, he works so hard to like. My desire to like him is quite high, so I was really chuffed for him. And he's gone and won the penalty, great. And then obviously he's got himself 2 goals as well. So I will put my hands up and eat humble pie twice this season now. First one is the Barrow preview pod where I said we'd be 18th in January. That's aging pretty badly. Second one is asking what Appéré's good. I mean, to be fair, I just asked, what's he good at? That's all I said in the group chat. What's he good at?
Yeah. And the answer, scoring goals at Oldham, I guess. Yeah.
He was like, watch this. Yeah, hold my beer. So,
well,
fair enough.
As I said earlier, I think Harris gave him it sounded like he gave him a bit of a talking to at half time. And maybe the key, Tom, was the headband. We've had a couple of questions. Chris has asked, how is Appéré suddenly less afraid of headers after suffering a head injury? Wade's asked, should Appéré wear a headband every week? And Rex has asked, did Apperé's head injury act as a factory reset? Which is great. What is it about Cambridge United strikers and headbands? What is that like?
They should all honestly.
It's in our DNA, isn't it?
Last day of the season, I want them all like taped up. Let's play that way.
Yeah, it is quite a strange trend, isn't it? Although I will say that I think probably the reason he maybe looked a little bit less afraid in the air and looked a little bit more lively. Was probably because Neil Harris told him not to be afraid
Yeah,
at
yeah.
half time by the sounds of it. So that probably plays its own part. Um, yeah, he's done really well. I kept saying it, and I still think about it now. I mean, I've watched the highlights so many times, but the third goal is just a thing of beauty, isn't it? Because, like, obviously the pass from Knight is brilliant, but Appare's finish, it was like slow motion. Like you fully get to enjoy that goal going in. Whereas like the second one's a bit almost, obviously it's a great cross from Knight, but it does end up being a little bit like a little bit of a bundle in the end, really. But the third one is just like just felt like time stopped for a moment until it hit the back of the net. Yeah, really good stuff. And we've spoken time and time again about probably since Boxing Day, really, at Gillingham, where we've talked about well, I guess our lack of ability really to make the ball just stick up front. And, obviously Appare's come in for a bit of criticism for that, really. And obviously he's not been prolific either. So that's been, something that we've looked at. And again, we talk about the preview show and discussing selections. I think a lot of people probably would have lined up with Nevitt starting, or maybe Nevitt or Lavery, or maybe both, but probably not Appéré. And certainly at half time, I mean, Caspell's unfortunately, he's the one that's really put it on the record, and he's the one that's actually put it down in writing. But certainly at half time, like I think I was definitely like of the same opinion. I was like, if you're gonna make one sub, it has to be Appéré going off the pitch, because it's just for whatever reason not working. But bit of a rocket, more than a helping hand from some quite dithering Oldham defending. But he did what good strikers do, I guess. He's in the right place at the right time, and he makes the most opportunities. So, yeah, fair play, and you just want to see that continue, really. And obviously, we talked about the run of games, we talked about the form we're in. As a striker, you're probably never going to have a better opportunity to go on a bit of a run and score some goals than you are now, really. So, hopefully, it's the start of a bit of a purple patch for him. But I guess we'll have to see.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good point.
the third goal, Appéré, to be fair, deserves. I think this is obviously the second one is just he's in the right place, which is good. He's won the penalty for the first one, which is great. The third one, I think the one criticism around his finishing, and you think back to that Gillingham game where it's like he just doesn't get his shots away. Do you know what I mean? It's like it just takes too many touches, and then like it just it's always the finish is a bit half-hearted. That second goal that he scored is just like the absolute opposite, right? Obviously, the ball to him is perfect. But I can just picture a world where if he hadn't scored, 10 minutes earlier, does he like take a touch and then and the opportunity kind of goes and the angle's closed and the defender like shuts him down. So just got to really hope, as Tom says, like just take the confidence and just run with it. Like he will have a lot of competition for his place with Nevitt getting more fitness. Lavery's there. Lavery's like, a quality striker at this level if he can stay fit. Kouassi going to be coming back. So it's like we've got great options. So he needs to like step up really, and obviously that hopefully Oldham is the first step that he's taken, and we can continue to see that level of performance. Would definitely get promoted if he keeps doing that.
And the point on that third goal and the way he took that finish, you could probably mirror that chance that he had at against Shrewsbury, sorry, in the first half, where he'd done so well to like beat a couple of men, like shift his weight, and then just this like piss weak finish straight into the keeper's arms. It's like a classic. You're right. With the confidence of a goal under his belt, that finish could look very different, and that's just kind of the game when you're a striker looking for a bit of luck and a bit of a streak. And hopefully it can kick him on. That's a good point, Tom. That we talk about the next 3, 5, 6 games being very presentable as a team. Of course, that's right. But for Appéré, he must look at it and be like, well, he's going to start. Definitely, you can't drop him after that. And he can really like kick on from here and have an amazing second half of the season.
Imagine if he drops him. Imagine if he does.
Imagine if he drops him now. Yeah,
that'd be like that's like proper Richard Money, like unhinged.
Yeah.
When Andy Pugh scored 4 goals, he's like, nope. sit down, Andy. That's too much, isn't it?
It was a funny old game though, because in terms of actual match action, there isn't loads of other stuff to talk about, and I think maybe that's one of the biggest positives to take from the whole afternoon, in that this is sort of harking back to what we were saying at the start of the pod, but it wasn't just the result and going up to a tricky place like Oldham, a decent, only one side has beaten them at home since August in the league, and that's Walsall. It's not just that, which would have been impressive however you come away with 3 points, but also to do it in the way that we did, with the control that we did, Tom. That's probably the bit that, for me, I'm coming out of it with so much confidence, because the entire game felt like it was played totally on our terms. And we stepped it up for a 10, 15-minute period, scored 3 goals, and then like turned the intensity down, and we could sort of see the rest of the game out.
Yeah, you're right. Similar discussion to what we had after the Fleetwood game, really.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like it just felt like Oldham were kind of dancing at our tune, really, a little bit. Um, and look, I don't think that's to say that like how like I don't think the game went perfectly to plan from our perspective, really, because the first half probably wasn't good enough, and we weren't threatening enough, really. Like you said, that there's not really any like clear cut chances or opportunities to talk about from the first half, other than maybe one or two sort of half chances where we get into like promising areas, but nothing clear cut certainly. So like let's not pretend that we were totally our best for the whole game, and that it was totally of our doing. But yeah, second half, just like the ability just to step on it a little bit for for that period of time, and like I just couldn't cope with it at all. And I do think in a way, if we had kept at it and kept going, we could be sat here talking about a massive score, really, because obviously we start with drawing players, which is fair enough, and we're probably thinking about Harrogate as much as anything in those last 20 or 25 minutes, but just the ability just to get the job done and then just control the ball really for the rest of the game, and just like you're thinking we're just making it look so easy, basically. So yeah, it is a really reassuring thing.
The other thing though on that though is in the 72nd minute we had the luxury of making the sub, which involved bringing on Kai and Lavery. I think about the
So
quality.
funny, isn't it?
Think about the quality of bringing off the bench there at 3-0 up. It's hilarious, isn't it?
It's brutal, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah. What about going forward? In terms of games, not in terms of on the pitch. Jaden's asked, how big are these next 3 games in your opinion? So Caspell, that's Harrogate. I mean, I know we'll cover Harrogate a bit more in depth on Thursdays. Sorry, I mean Fridays preview show. And then it's Crawley away and Bristol Rovers at home. So 3 teams currently occupying all in the bottom 6. Crawley 19th, Bristol Rovers 21st, Harrogate bottom of the league. You've got a few Harrogate stats, I think, to give us, haven't you?
Well, mate, we could save it for Friday, but yeah, I mean, Harrogate, oh shit, aren't they? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we said last time when we were about to play Harrogate, and they'd obviously
yeah. and you think what, like 4 or 5 seasons on, more experienced, more potentially a slightly wiser set of people that we are. We wouldn't go and make the same mistake twice. But yet here we are, out from that game.
Mate, they've lost
to shite. We're going to batter them.
They've lost their last 9 home games, and they've scored twice in that sequence. And they play Swindon at home on Tuesday night before they play us. I don't know.
You almost kind of want them to win that game.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Well, I mean, it would be good for us anyway. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I agree, Tom.
No, I mean, yeah, so Harrogate are, I mean, of all the games we've got coming, this is arguably, well, no, there's no argument to it. It is the easiest fixture, I think, even though it's away. I just think we're on an absolute steam train heater right now. Our longest ever sequence of wins in the Football League is 7 wins. So we've got that staring down the barrel of equaling our longest ever run of wins as well, which is back in 1977. We'll have to ask Jules about that one next time we get him on. I'm sure he remembers it well. But just waiting for that.
They do feel big though, don't they? Because
I mean, the thing is, I've been saying this to you for weeks now, and I know you know this. It's not I'm telling you. It's like mansplaining how promotion seasons work. But this is what I love about these seasons is I'm trying to explain it. I remember actually saying to my wife, who's not a football-y person, during the promotion season under COVID, I sort of like, we get into games in January, February, Carlisle away, that's massive. She was like, you said that a couple of weeks ago, like how much bigger can football matches get? Like you're gonna run out of superlatives for like how big the game.
Wait until Newport away in a few weeks. You won't believe how big that is.
Yeah, it's like gargantuan, like literally running out just in my thesaurus. Like how else can I describe something that's absolutely enormous? They just get bigger and bigger, right? I mean, I think the fixtures somehow, I don't know, it's just. No, I was just going to say the fixtures are run kindly for us, but I'm not sure that's quite the case because actually December was like very hard on paper. We got like an A+ in December. We just absolutely aced that very difficult month with like quite a threadbare squad of a situation. and now we're on an easier run of games. We just have to make sure we capitalise is the thing. I think you look at the three, and this is football fan like sense. Something's got to go wrong at some point in the next couple of weeks. It just feels sort of unbelievable that we just keep a run like this going. And we were saying it yesterday, it's like how we respond to that defeat if and when it comes, I think that's going to be that'll be what defines us. I mean, we're on 53 points now, and we're saying 86 is like the line, right? For Autos is the sort of PPG profit. If we get this next set of games running into that MK game, which was on the 28th of February, these next, 5 are sort of the end of this easy run of games, easy in quotation marks. If we do this well, we get even 11 or 12 points in those games, which I realise is quite bullish. You're suddenly looking at that last set of games. You're like, Jesus, we're not a million miles off needing a point a game here. Definitely for playoffs, but even for promotion. And I just think we've just got to just got to keep it going as long as we can, basically, this run, and accept at some point, obviously, there's going to be a result that is out of turn, I guess. It's how we respond to that and what we do with that, as and when that setback comes. And then I think it's in March, we've got a big run. It's Walsall, Salford, Grimsby, Barnet, Swindon. That is that's a tough set, including Walsall away on a Tuesday night with then Swindon at home. I think that is
testing.
Yeah.
If you're going to be positive again, you might say, well, Mayer's probably back for that. Kouassi's probably back for that. I think Harris said they're 6 weeks away, so maybe around that sort of time they're coming back into the squad. So that's a positive. We're also chatting on Sunday night. There's deadline day tomorrow. I think Harris said that they're still after one more for sure. I get the impression, I'm pretty sure he said himself at the start of the window that they were after 3. So I'm interested if they decided not to pick up another striker or something, and Apéré's confirm that decision or anything like that. But anyway, that's just conjecture.
Imagine deadline day, we just sell Job, Knight, Watts. Just we just get pillaged. I hadn't even thought about this. We just get absolutely raided on deadline day. This all just lands at 7 p.m. or something. Shit.
Do you remember that? Was it Leeds fans when they were like, "Don't go to bed just yet"? And then they
sold 2 players. And
sold 2 players.
That's great stuff.
That's amazing. We got this question from Owen as well. The other thing to kind of think about, maybe at this point, is also just the relative strength of the league, which we've spoken about all season in terms of us not really thinking anyone's particularly good. Owen's asked, we're now currently on 5 points more than we were in the promotion year at this stage, yet we were top for 5 games beforehand in 2021. Does that mean that the opposition we've come up against this year are stronger than the promotion year or worse? I guess you can just take that wider, Tom. What are you making to it? Who do you fear around us? Who do you think are the biggest challengers for us that we should be looking out for? And just a last note on that point, is that I didn't realise we've only got to travel to 2 of the top 9 in this half of the season, which is Walsall and Bromley. So anyway, the question is, what do you make to the league?
It's increasingly quite hard to keep a lid on things, isn't it? When you hear things
isn't it? Yeah.
Caspell was just talking about that run of games that we've got starting in mid or late March.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, we'll be 25 unbeaten. We'll have won 12 in a row by then, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think confidence will carry us through that more than anything. The league's a bit of a different one to assess. I think. I think if we were in the sort of position that we'd been in last time we got promoted from League Two, where we've obviously spent a few years at this level and you've seen different teams come, different teams go, you'd probably be able to make a bit of a better judgment on it. I mean, I think the one thing you can say for sure is that if you look at the teams that were coming into League One while we were in it, I think they're probably bigger names and more moneyed clubs than the ones that we're currently competing against. So that's maybe one way of looking at it. What was it that year that I think Wrexham, Stockport, and Mansfield maybe got promoted, and you're thinking even in League Two they're paying money 2 and 3 times the amount that we can pay to our players as a League One club. So that's probably Bradford got promoted last season, for example. Big clubs that have gone out of the division who would have been a threat this season. In terms of the way that I'm looking at it, I said it after the game, and obviously this was, I think, just as we were approaching getting on the train home. So this is admittedly coloured by quite a lot of enjoyment of the day, quite a lot of enjoyment of the result and probably a bit too much bullishness, really. But the only team I'm looking at is Bromley. Genuinely, it's the only team that I'm looking at and thinking that to me should be the only way we look at this league, and the only way we're looking at who should we be concerned about, who should we keep an eye out for. Just focus on them. That's it. Well, I guess focus on ourselves, obviously, first and foremost, but just look at them, because that's the way that I'd want us to be analysing this, particularly the way that we've played, particularly the results we've got, and particularly with the the run of games that we've got over the next 4 or 5 weeks. We should be looking at closing that gap, and probably at some point in this run overtaking it as well. Like, we're beating Bromley this season already. I appreciate they weren't necessarily on the form that they are now. So, if you want to judge it as simple as that, we clearly can compete with them. But I suppose, if you want to a more general take on the on the others, I think the obvious ones are probably Salford and MK, just because of how much cash they're able to spend, and they've reinforced pretty well in January, both of them. But other than that, I could only really be concerned about our own results, and really only concerned about how we play, because I think, and it sounds like an obvious thing, but the only team that's going to dictate now if we finish in the top 3 or not is ourselves, really. And it's just about how comfortably can we do it, how efficiently can we do that, and I guess it sounds mad, just because in theory it shouldn't happen, and clearly we are expecting something to go wrong at some point, because that's just the way that we've sort of accepted it works as a Cambridge United fan. But there is a realistic possibility that we're hitting 7, 8, 9 wins in a row here, which would be record breaking stuff. I mean, the last time we obviously got promoted, we broke a few records there as well. And we're not going to be far off at this time. Then the conversation will be about how good is this team in the pantheon of Cambridge United teams that there's been over the years. But yeah, I'm not sure it's a mega strong division. I think our place within it, we're talking about the amount of money that MK Dons and Salford can spend. There'll be plenty of clubs in the division thinking, look at the sort of money that Cambridge can spend to have a midfield like Don Ball, Pelly Ruddock, etc., etc. So clearly, we're at a level where our floor is only ever going to be so low because of the quality of players we've got in the squad. But I'm not sure that other than the sort of top 3 or 4 teams in this league, there's really anything to worry about, to be honest.
We're making a lot of our pre-season predictions look a bit silly, aren't we? Apart from yours, to be fair, Tom, you had us 6th, did you? Or 4th?
I'd say we finished 6th. That's unnecessarily pessimistic at this
Yeah,
rate.
it was. Yeah, riding, flying up there in second as we are. Final point, Caspell here. This question from Steve. Not to pour cold water on this, and we shouldn't think too far ahead, but he's asked, is promotion what we want? We've had 4 years in League One and the last 3 were miserable. Another year in League Two, 3 more transfer windows, and perhaps we'll be better equipped to be successful in League One. Harris himself, when he rejoined us, said he needed 4 windows to build his team. Where are you at with Steve's train of thought? Not that we should throw it away if we're second in the league.
Why Swindle sending us questions under the name Steve? That's what I want to know. Has anyone checked on Swindle during this winning run? Because I know he's desperate for us to lose a game.
He's far too focused on a lack of activity in the January transfer window to worry about our actual results.
It will be a basket case tomorrow. 6 wins in a row, and we're not signing anyone. Swindle's going to be an absolute basket case on deadline day. Yeah. Sorry, Swindle. I think we probably will be at Harrogate, so it's going to keep going. I can understand this question. I can understand the viewpoint. I just think with Neil Harris and with Bonner, and I give Bonner credit because I think the transfer business has been really canny so far. Looking at the quality of someone like Ben Knight and thinking, yeah, we've done good there. Mayer is a massive pickup. I mean, all the transfer business has gone pretty well, to be honest. I just think the Harris Bonner combo is potent enough that we should be able to keep our head above water in League One, in my opinion. I think the other thing, we were chatting about it on the train yesterday, Jules, is it that bad? If we go back up to League One and we end up being next sort of 5 years a bit of a yo-yo, sort of, up and then down. I know having a relegation season is not as fun, but those League One seasons are still fun because you get to go to some proper grounds.
Might go to Leicester next year.
Yeah, you could go to Leicester. You get a chance to go to places like that.
I think you really have to understand the context of the football pyramid, don't you, when you say things like that? Because we're sat here talking about potentially a record-breaking winning run, and the reward for that is a day in Leicester. It's a real result.
You make a good point. But you know what I mean? Look, I feel like if we want to push on and progress as a club, as we are massively when you look at off the field, it will be reasonable to say if we go to League One next year, we will never, as a club, probably in our entire history, have been better equipped off the pitch to be a League One football club because of all the brilliant work that is going on behind the scenes to like put the club in the right position. That, you know, you go into a Tuesday night home game in January and we got over 5,000 home fans. This is unheard of. So it's like
bringing 1,000 to Harrogate on Saturday.
Yeah, we're saying. I mean, that's wild, isn't it?
It's just crazy.
I mean, you're flying from Denmark to Harrogate away. You
potentially TBC.
You idiot! You definitely will. Come on, we went over this on the train, on that boiling hot train that we were on. Yeah, mate. It's like I understand the question, but I don't fully follow it in the sense that it's a bit like some of that narrative that was popping up on message boards, like, oh, like get relegated to League Two might not, you know, won't be so bad. It'll be fun to win some games. And it's kind of right, like it is, but we were in League One at the time. It's like, why don't we just
want to stay here?
Try to stay in League One instead. I know it's hard, but it's like I understand the viewpoint, and I know that the top end of League One is getting very toppy now in terms of the money, and like, you know, we will struggle to compete at that level. But clubs like Exeter, Leyton Orient, Stevenage, Wimbledon, they're similar size.
Burton have been there like 9 years now. I know they've got quite a bit of cash, but still.
The turd that won't flush.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. But like, we should be looking at clubs like Exeter or Orient, and that's the model for us. That's you know, we should be hoping and expecting that we can. It's not like a grim clinging to life in League One. It's more like, you know, it's a finishing 14th in League One, churning out some really positive results. Average home crowds like high 6,000s, great for gate receipts. You know, if and when the redevelopment chat resurfaces, much more attractive as a League One, you know, much more upside to that from our perspective as an established League One football club. This should be the goal for us the next 10 years, is to be an established League One football club. That is where Cambridge United, in my mind, belongs in that pyramid, if we're being ambitious. And realistically, stretched over a decade, we should hopefully be talking about, like, how do we get a run at the Championship? You know, I understand what will happen to us.
Now we're talking.
There we go. Let's get carried away.
Really bring about the Kool-Aid chat. You must have snuck a big proportion of Kool-Aid into some of those white claws that you were sinking on the way back.
Basically, Steve has asked his promotion what we want. I think the answer is yes. That's what I want.
Steve's asking his promotion to League One what we want, whereas you're asking his promotion to Championship what we want.
I'm already planning my conference league, mate. I'm already planning the trips to Azerbaijan and Netherlands and stuff like this. Let's bring it on.
But the club I was actually going to say on that exact note is Lincoln to look at. I think they're second still.
Oh, Lincoln. I forgot Lincoln, One. But yeah,
they're probably the one to look at in terms of how they've grown, their history, the size of their club. As like, it's not unrealistic that we can go and emulate that sort of journey over the next 3
We should absolutely. This is exactly what we should be trying to do. And again, we're back to these like long running themes, I guess. Like Steve's question. Obviously, thanks for everyone sending the questions. It's giving little old Cambridge energy. It's like, I'm just sort of done with it. Like, let's win League Two. Let's get into League One. And let's finish mid-table in League One with like a really talented squad of players. Sign Ben Knight, get him signed on now. Keep him in League One. Do you know what I mean? Like, why can't we aspire to do something like that? Post up in League One, have a few good cup runs. Maybe don't get absolutely bummed by Peterborough twice. Like,
I think the thing that underlines that more than anything is the fact that we did it before as a far less equipped football club.
Yeah.
So like,
I think we've got a better manager now.
Yeah, and we've got the other guy as well. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
maybe we can do it. And I think, I guess to make a sort of semi-serious point, well, genuinely serious point on it, is I would say that I think the priorities of the football club, not like I'm not trying to say that people and people involved with the club and sort of supporters were split while we're in League One. I don't think anyone wanted us to get relegated. I understand that there was maybe a train of thought that losing a lot of games is not as good as winning a lot of games, and we're more likely to win games at League Two level than League One. So maybe there's some logic in that. But particularly with regards to things around like the ground redevelopment being sort of kicked into the long grass for the time being, like you do think now in terms of like investment and in terms of putting cash into the football club, the only really thing you can do for it is actually spend it on a decent team. So we might actually be more equipped and more, more competitive in terms of the sort of budget that we could get promoted with than before. Like, I mean, it feels almost strange to think it now. But you look at some of the players we've signed since getting relegated, and you're like, why did we do this 12 months ago? Like that sort of cash. And I know it's financially very difficult. You've only got to look at like what Exeter have been through over the last sort of 9 or 12 months. And obviously the way that teams like Leyton Orient, for example, to compete at that level are just hemorrhaging cash basically. But I do think as a football club we're much better equipped this time around to make it somewhat enjoyable. I mean, and like you do end up having similar conversations to the ones that you had in our first year or two in League One around the idea that if you get it right and if you do it well, it can be a seriously enjoyable league to even finish like 15th in, because like and as bleak as that sounds when we're talking about like 6 game winning runs and 14 unbeaten and promotion and title charges and all this sort of stuff, like finishing mid-table in the league above feels almost like a bit of kind of cold water over it. But you look at some of the local, like the local games in that division, whether it's obviously posh, which hopefully we'll get correct next time we play them compared to the last few times. Even like Northampton, Stevenage, Luton, even like at the level above, and like who knows may come down. That could still be a Leicester, it could still be a Norwich, for example. You even start to take for granted trips like Sheffield Wednesday and stuff like that. So I think. I do definitely understand the logic of questions around, well, would you actually want to get promoted anyway? I think I know sort of a handful of Norwich fans, and while they were sort of yo-yoing between the Premier League and the Championship, I think a lot of their fans are having similar conversations. It's like it's actually just great winning loads of games, to be honest. So why wouldn't you just want to keep that up? But at the same time, like what are you going to football for, man? Like you want to see teams get promoted. You want to have great days at Crewe, for example. Mate, when the train went past Crewe yesterday, we were like, "Oh dear, we're going to be back in a very different way in a few months." But I think the bottom line of it is enjoy it for what it is now. Don't think too far ahead. And look, I don't think anybody's going to be sat there in May if things do carry on the way they are and things do go the way that I guess we hope they would. Watching Michael Morrison or Don Ball or whoever it is lift the League Two trophy, going, that's a shame, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mate, poor Steve. I feel a bit bad for Steve now. He's just been absolutely bodied.
No, because I think it's a good question. I think it's interesting.
So do I. That's what I want to say. If you know what I mean, yeah.
It's an interesting talking point. Like it is. I was saying to you guys before, but like on the way up yesterday, like I had a similar conversation with somebody about it on Saturday morning, like before even meeting up with you guys. Like, would it be better just to just miss out on the autos, maybe not go up via the playoffs, and just like you set yourself up to go and do it all again next season? I can definitely see the logic in it. So it's not like we're dismissing it as like total stupidity, which I don't think it is. I just don't buy into that train of thought as much as I did before the game, because I actually really enjoyed winning the game at Oldham and the idea of getting promoted. And then you start talking about the title and you start talking about everything else. And that sort of stuff just really overpowers it for me. And I think probably more people would lean towards that than the idea that it's fun to win a few games in League Two, but don't win too many, don't have too much fun, sort of thing.
But basically, do send us your questions to at AbbeyStandPod or under the AbbeyStand.com on Substack, but do expect to get completely lambasted when you do. Because that's how it's going. And Steve, if you're offended by that, then I will buy you a skepasti next time we come to a home game.
We had a listener write in saying they had a skepasti on Tuesday before the Shrewsbury game and said it was delicious. A world famous skepasti.
Famous skepasti. We've put the skepasti on the map.
Yeah.
On the map.
On the map. Obviously, you need to head down to the Old Spring, one Ferry path to take advantage of that. Matchday Meal Deal, happy hour, or 10% off any time with a season ticket or match ticket. Our lovely drinking partners. We're going to have a few there for the half marathon, aren't we, guys? Which we better start talking about, which is in 5 weeks. How's the training going? Yeah.
Walks. You want to go first?
Well, Walks has obviously been for his. You've been for your 15k run this morning, haven't you?
No, no, definitely not. Nothing like it. Don't want to shed too much light behind the curtain, but I've not even left the house today because quite a bad state. Talking of over enjoying things and not thinking about the consequences later. Yeah. I think that's happened. No, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. I was in a better spot on Friday morning than I sat here recording on Sunday evening. I think my training has gone backwards by a week or two, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. Should be a good day. I know both Caspell and Swindle have signed it up for the foundation, so hopefully we can raise a bit of cash through that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going okay. Probably not as bullish as it was in August when we booked the damn thing and
Yeah.
started making what now in hindsight seems like quite a foolish bet. But Castle's been kind enough to row back on that a bit, so we still need to work out exactly how that's going to look.
Well, Caspell, what was it we were talking about the other night about, like, because Accrington away is the day before, and what was this conversation about? Like,
well, I said we should go to the game because me and Tom both contemplating not going to that game. But obviously, at this point, we'll have won like 14 in a row. So you kind of have to go, right? But whatever we do on the day, we've got to make sure we go like toe for toe. So, got to drink the same number of Guinnesses. So it's like a controlled, it's like a fair test, basically.
Yeah, and you could start because then you can start playing some mental games like, oh, I back myself to be better hungover than he will, so like I'll get us both wrecked. And then,
mate, you know me too well.
That's exactly how my mind works as well.
Yeah.
Because I'd be so tunnel vision on ruining Caspell's day that I wouldn't even think about what I'm doing to my own life and my own body. So
mutually assured destruction.
Absolutely funneling all sorts of poison into you just to make sure that you finish a few minutes off the mark. I sat there pre-match doing like tequila, just like come on,
sip for sip,
go on.
I can turn up for the books when Swindle ends up strolling to victory.
beating us both.
Sorry, I didn't mean to actually laugh there.
Oh, good lads. Anyway, we'll talk about that more in the coming weeks. We're potentially going to be doing a deadline day pod tomorrow night. To go over any business. That's either Monday or Tuesday. That'll be for Coconut Tier members, which you know where to go. £5 a month gets you loads of extra pods and extra website stuff under the abbeystand.com. Make sure you're not a round dodger. And that's it for today, lads. I think that's as bullish a pod as I can remember for a while. We talked about promotion to the Championship today somehow, which is amazing.
Brief mention of Europe as well.
Yeah, brief mention of Europe. That's always good.
Yeah. What is it if we can't get carried away, mate? Like, this is it. What is it if we can't just get totally carried away? Just like when Kouassi's injury got announced, I was like, shit, that's it. I was like, we're going to go down we're going down the pipes here. I was totally wrong.
As you said, maybe for Thursday. I think I'm on Thursday. I can't remember.
Friday.
Sorry, Friday. Yeah. Sorry.
Mate, no one needs to know how the sausage is made, okay? We call it the Friday pod. We release it at 6:30 in the morning, which suggests that we record from 5:30 in the morning, which clearly don't.
I just can't. I'm looking at the schedule and my brain can't compute that thing. I'm just reading out Thursday, 5th of February. But what I was going to say is we should go back and like clip that bit from the pod when you said we could be 18th by the end of January.
Honestly, like my group chat history and some of these clips from the pod, just stick them on the dressing room wall when we get to that hard run of games in April. Like, just prove this dickhead wrong. Yeah, just keep doing it. Like, make him look like a total mug.
Yeah, which you often do yourself anyway, don't you?
Which I often do myself.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Anyway, mate, it's been great to chat. And Tom, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll do. On to the next.